Well, joined now by Ahamdi Nweke, who is the spokesperson for the All Progressive Grand Alliance in Abia State. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much indeed.
Well, all of that, and many wonder, I guess it pours in Abia State's politics, and not just right now, because many looked through and thought, well, just how many hours to the elections, the key elections for different states, and we're having that kind of scenario. What's going on in Abia State?
If the national chairman of our great party, Victor Ome, had not responded to that, I would not dignify such an exercise with a response on national television. The gentleman involved is someone who was sacked as the chairman, state chairman of the party in Abia State. He is a sore loser, disgruntled. He decided to play what I consider a cheap trick. I don't consider him, and nobody considers him, still a member of APGA.
What about the state chairman of APGA? Is he within sight? How come he didn't make any statement, or did he make any statements?
The national chairman was in Abia State when this incident happened. He has made a statement. The governorship candidate has made a statement, Dr. Alex Oti of OFR. I'm sure the state chairman will also be responding. Quite frankly, I think that's a huge joke by the PDP. I don't know how much they have paid him. You clearly can tell that that's a cheap scam.
But you also have people who were gathered there as though to authenticate or lend credence to that activity all by itself.
Members of the PDP, of course. What would you expect?
You think it's an afterthought, what you're telling us? Perhaps it did happen, and you just thought about it and said, wait a minute, if you ask for this particular election, shouldn't be a case of us saying we backed out. What's the feeling in your camp? Is APGA in Abia State divided?
APGA in Abia State is not divided at all. We have one state chairman. We have the affairs of the party being overseen currently by Engineer Uchenna Okobo, the national vice chairman Southeast. We have a very healthy, thriving party. The party set to take over governance from Abia State after the elections on Saturday. There is no doubt that APGA is going to win the elections again, just as we won in the National Assembly elections.
Isn't this going to cause some form of confusion in your camp already? How well have you been able to let people know that this is just not the story we have seen, that your candidate is still going for this particular election on Saturday?
That's exactly why this came this last minute. PDP and Prince Okebu had planned this very well to come last minute. Of course, there are responses coming up from the party. Dr. Alex Oti is speaking, our national chairman is speaking, the state chairman will soon be speaking. Very soon it will become clear to people. I'm sure the ordinary Abian doesn't believe this, because they know the kind of government we're dealing with in Abia State. PDP-led government by TLG, and not a single truth can come from that camp. People will not be fooled by that at all. I think the response you're seeing is just to satisfy people at the national level. In Abia State, I doubt that any one at all members of the electorate are going to believe this.
Well, you know, some people will say that people who are politicians might not believe it, but you're appealing to the electorate who sometimes perhaps not pay attention to politics. All we hear is rumor. Oh, you know, PDP or APGA has endorsed the PDP candidate. That's all they need to hear. And even though they will wonder why at this last minute, but then they say, oh, they're politicians, they don't put it past them. And then here you also confirm that the man who raised his hand up used to be a member of APGA, the chairman.
Used to be, yes. And
that he would also have left with his followers if he had any. He most likely would have had some, otherwise he wouldn't have been chairman of the party.
I'm glad you said if he had any. As chairman of the party, members of the party don't belong to you. They are not your members. They are not your supporters. They are supporters of the party. Which is why his leaving made no difference at all. Quite frankly, it is since he had left that APGA gained the kind of momentum we gained in Abia State. The word in everyone's mouth today in Abia State is change. I suspect that
is that
what
your
will
mantra
happen,
as well?
the word is change.
I'm just wondering if they won't be confusing it with the APC mantra.
No, not at all. It is changing the decay we have in the system in Abia State. We have a government which has not paid any salaries for the past 6 months. They're putting the monies together to run this election or to run the bribery for this election. Teachers are not being paid. Local government employees are not being paid. Civil servants are not being paid. Pensioners have not been paid. How conceivable is it that anyone will be voting for a government who has not paid you for months?
They just might understand if the government has explained to them why they haven't been paid.
They haven't explained to them. There's no explanation. What explanation would there be? Do we not receive our national allocations? Do we not receive monies from our...
Very quickly, you say you put this blame on the doorstep of the PDP in Abia State, this particular story we're getting to hear, what I call it rumor now. Why do you blame the PDP when someone who is already, who was a member of APGA, who was even a one-time chairman of APGA in your state, would make such pronouncement and you think is coming from the camp of the PDP?
Obviously been paid by PDP. I have no doubt whatsoever. This is the way PDP works in Abia State. I have no doubt whatsoever. This is a man who has been parading himself, saying he is still the chairman of the party. If you look at the newspaper article in the Sun yesterday, he blamed even Jega. He says he wondered why Professor Tahiru Jega is still recognizing the national chairman of the party, Victor Ome. He says Alex Oti shouldn't be the candidate. Blames everyone else, including me. He says all the people who are contesting under APGA now failed the primaries in PDP. I did not contest the primaries in PDP. I only contested in APGA. I was PDP previously. I ran the PDP governorship election in 2007. And everyone left PDP because of what is happening. It is in Abia State, you have a system where the party belongs to one family. The governor and his son are the personification of PDP that you see.
So you're leaving because...
Before the primaries, the PDP in Abia State had dissolved the ward ESCO of the PDP, the local government ESCO, the state ESCO. I had argued in November that there was no PDP at all in Abia State. And I wondered legally whether PDP should have any candidates in the elections. Where you don't have a PDP ward ESCO, a PDP local government ESCO, a PDP state ESCO, how on earth do you have PDP in Abia State?
Let's put that question to Dr. Eme Okoro. He's a member of the PDP. He joins us via phone today. Good morning and thank you for joining us. You perhaps have heard what Ahamdi Nweke has just said about your party. What's your response to that?
Good morning, Chamberlain. I'm happy to respond to him. Are you hearing me?
Go ahead. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, Chamberlain. First of all, a house that is divided against itself will never stand. 1. 2. This same that is Ahamdi Nweke, prior to the primary, was a principal stakeholder of the party, principal stakeholder of the PDP. He is holding paper himself. I don't know how many candidates that the APGA has to run for gubernatorial position. There is regular formula. You see, the confusion results from the fact that people are selfishly inclined to just get in power. The people who have presence and clout to help build Abia are so anxious about gaining power, you float from one party to the other. Ahamdi Nweke worked with me in the re-election campaign organization of this same PLG that is now castigating. Ahamdi Nweke was also the Director General of a PDP candidate, Senator PT1. And in less than a stone throw from the primary, the man has moved over from Ikeji to Alex Oti. Alex Oti, by the way, is a man that has presence, but the point that he manages money, people's money, doesn't manage people. So the essence of what I'm trying to indicate is that APGA is a very confused party. First of all, let them solve the problem internally who is going to be their candidate. Secondly, APGA does not even have a base. APGA is eroding and casting his hope on the memory of Ikemba.
Dr. Okoro, could you respond to...
Many of them cannot remember if they have been saying.
I believe you can hear me.
For him is that to castigate the governor with respect to salaries, with respect to everything, has nothing to do for a man like him who should have come clean and clear as early as possible and stay within the party. If there's anything...
Dr. Okoro, you can hear me, can you?
To reform the party.